Hotep, brothers and sisters, Black Power. As always, giving honor to the Creator, the ancestors. Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul, the Street Law Soldiers, my sister, my father, my in-laws, and all of our ancestors, my subscribers, and those fighting for our liberation and salvation of the Black nation. I'm sitting down here on the waterfront in Washington, D.C., near the dock where if you look behind me, if you can see behind me, you can see a lot of the ships and boats here. But this was where our ancestors were taking off the slave ships, right on these waters, right on these same waters that we're standing on and standing at today. You know, very sacred ground. A lot of bloodshed. A lot of blood was shed here. A lot of our ancestors were whipped. If you go across that water behind me, you'll see about a quarter of a mile was where the original auction blocks were held. Where Pierre Lafont, where that faggot, where he stayed at, and which is called today Lafont Plaza. These also are the same waters where George Washington sailed the Potomac, in which Mount Vernon is where he resided at, which is about maybe 30 minutes down the Potomac River on the west bank of the Potomac River in Arlington, Virginia, where our ancestors were beaten and raped in the slave quarters. And hopefully, before the year is out, I'll be down at Mount Vernon inside the slave quarters so I can pay homage to our ancestors there. And the reason why these crackers keep us away from water, if you notice, black people have to travel to get to a large body of water, opposed to whites. They have what you call waterfront property, and they live in the water. Reason being because water makes our pineal gland, it concentrates our pineal gland, it enriches it. It enriches our melanin. It makes us strong. It makes us powerful. And so what they do is keep us as far away from water as possible. That's why from the inner cities, from the hood, to get to a beach, you have to do some traveling. Once again, whereas crackers have beachfront property, waterfront property, riverfront property, because they understand that the closer we are to the water, the stronger we are, the more our melanin is enriched. That's why there was so much fighting on those slave ships during that 5-month voyage. Can you imagine being on a ship with rats, snakes, laying in human feces? Not only your human feces and urine, but other people's human feces and urine in 120 plus degree heat in the bottom of a ship, a wooden ship, chained up on a wooden slab for 5 months. From West Africa to Jamestown, Virginia. And so a lot of us, we always try to minimize what our ancestors went through. And some of you, like Steve Harvey, that fucking faggot, said he didn't give a damn about slavery. You see, this is what I be telling you all on why certain motherfuckers got to be dealt with for the shit that they come out their mouth with. that foul shit that they come out their mouth with to impress their slave masters. And so, sitting here today, and the queen, you know, she's out here doing her thing, reading a book, sitting back, and enjoying the air from this water, which it relaxes you. At the same time, this water strengthens you. But mainly here, particularly here, this is something that we never need to forget about what our ancestors went through. And can you imagine 200 years ago, wooden ships, no bridges, just wooden ships, sailing across the Potomac with the British, Napoleon, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, and many other faggot cracker presidents who ensured that the lash of the whip remained on our ancestors up until this day. Because a lot of us don't believe that we're slaves today. A lot of us do not believe that we are in bondage. Just take a look around where you live at. Take a look in the hood. Most hoods look like penitentiary yards. You got clotheslines hanging up just like in the penitentiary. You got people just frequent. You have fights, you have killings, you have murders, you have extortion, you have drugs, you have rapes. Same thing as in prison, in a gated community. And so when you say that you're not incarcerated, you know, and if you live in the hood, you need to rethink what you're saying. You need to seriously rethink what you're saying. And if you don't live in the hood, if you're fortunate enough not to live in the belly of the beast, think about your relatives and those that you know who are still trapped in those conditions. And so I want you to comment and send some comments in my comment box, as well as if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. As you know, I don't do this for money. I don't get paid. My mission is to educate the people. I'm not here for promotion. I'm not here for show. I don't have low self-esteem where I have to be seen or heard. But I've been blessed by the Creator and the ancestors with the knowledge to convey to our people who are suffering and who want to be mentally liberated first, as well as physically liberated. So, we really need to do a lot of work in the community. Once again, we need not to have any more of our babies murdered behind cowardly acts of these young punks. Now, when I say young punks, I'm not talking about the black youth totally. I'm talking about those who refuse to grow up, to accept help, to receive discipline, to receive structure, to become strong black men in these days and times. And we really need you all. We really need the black youth, because for many reasons. You are military, you are future teachers, scholars, warriors. But just like most of the masses of black people that practice and function off misinformation. So One thing we have to do is stop battling each other. See, a lot of you'll go on somebody that looks like you, but you will not go on this cracker whatsoever. You will not go on this cracker. But you say you're hard. You say you're thorough. You say you're a goon. You say you're a fucking G. But then when it's time to produce and exercise that name which you call yourself, you fail to do so. But you can do it with your brother. You exercise that shit on your brother. You exercise that shit on your sister. But you will not exercise that shit on your natural born enemy, on your natural fucking enemy. And when I say natural enemy, I'm talking about as natural as you putting on fucking pants in the morning. Your natural enemy. And this motherfucker works 24 hours a day trying to find ways and means to exterminate your ass. But yet, you give him all the respect in the world. All the respect in the world. I see a lot of you today, you work in these stores. You act like the merchandise is yours. You're willing to die for this cracker's merchandise. And the only thing that they're gonna do for you, is put a picture up at the front of the store and say in remembrance of such and such and such and such. That's it. And they're gonna look for another stupid ass house nigga to go around these stores. And I see you all do that all the time. You go around, you're chasing people that look like you. You don't chase the Latino. You don't chase the crackers. And they're the ones doing all the fucking stealing because they know you're not watching them. You're watching everybody that looks like you. And that makes you dumber and dumber and dumber. So Queen makes some good lemonade. Good damn lemonade, And I wish you could see the monument. It's to my right. And maybe I may angle the camera where you can see the monument. I couldn't get a close up on the monument. It's just too far. And nevertheless, I'm gonna be downtown anyway before the winter, and we're gonna be at the Library of Congress. We're gonna be at the monument, at the Capitol, because I want to show you all that haven't been to Washington, D.C., how this shit really looks, how it functions on a day-to-day basis, where you can see these congressmen, you can see these devils in action. Because Washington, D.C., downtown Washington, D.C., it's like a modern-day Rome, flooded with homosexuals, flooded with white homosexuals. And this is a police city. Because you got a police for every goddamn thing you can name. Capitol Police, housing police, city police, special police, state police, United States police, United States Protective Services, FBI police, CIA police, ATF police. And it's a police state. And this is why you see the majority of black men are in total compliance with this demonic structure that's situated here in Washington, D.C. And for those who think the nation's capital is such glory, glitz, and glamour, the nation's capital is fucked up. Black people struggle like a motherfucker. And the only blacks that don't struggle are those who are these bougie motherfucking house niggas. You know, and these fucking bed wenches and these black homosexuals who allow these devils to play with them and sex them up doing happy hour and participating in these rituals. They do a lot of sex rituals in these buildings. The number 13 is powerful, it's symbolic in Washington, D.C. because no building can go higher than 13 floors. You know, just like the 13 stars and stripes. And, you know, 13 is symbolic and demonic in Washington, D.C. So, you know, I really want to take y'all there and let y'all see how this shit operates in the daytime. And, you know, shout out to all my comrades that are riding with me, that are street law soldiers, you know, that are holding it down in all areas of the country, as well as the DMV. Give me a second. Okay, so I'm back, brothers and sisters. As it nears, it's getting ready to, you know, get dark out here, and these crackers, these goddamn police, you know, they be running blacks out of the parks. But these crackers can continue jogging all down the tidal basin. This is where we at is called the tidal basin. Sometimes this water cresses. When it crests, it goes all the way into the grass. It goes all the way over this fence. You know, and of course, you know, water is very deep, and it has this water sucks you in. You know, you're really unable to swim in this type of water because it's so shallow and it's so deep. But it's been said that, and I know this for a fact, that there's a lot of brothers and sisters in the bottom of this river here, along with cars, vans, trucks that were put in here by police officers, stemming all the way back from the 50s and the 60s. So, you know, once again, like I said, it's been a lot of blood shed from our ancestors on this land. And so, this is where the if you can see directly behind me, you'll see these three boats. They're yellow. They're called water taxis, and probably maybe in maybe a couple of weeks, we should be on the water taxis and taking a trip to Alexandria, close to Mount Vernon, which is George Washington's home, as well as King Street in Alexandria, where the Masonic Temple is. So, as you see, you're about to see, you see these ducks, and you're about to see two devils in a canoe. They should be coming this way if they're not scared, you know. But nevertheless, this is what they do. They have access to all the elements of the planet, but yet they box us in, you know, concrete and steel all day, either in the hood, in the workplace, or in prison. And so, but you know, the Queen was telling me that in the little canoe, this white bitch and her son, which he, you know, apparently his father is black, you know, old fucking house nigga, But nevertheless, and just this type of shit, it's a lot of that shit going on down here, where these niggas these old Sidney Poitier ass motherfuckers down here, that loves the taste of that motherfucking ice ate, and and I really don't have no respect for people like that, because Washington D.C. in the 17 and 1800s, there was a lot of that going on, whereas the so-called quote-unquote free slaves that were here were allowed to, dress and wear secondhand clothing of their slave masters, but they were considered free, such as people like Benjamin Banneker, who took total advantage of his freedom, and I give him credit because of what he done. That's why the clocks, when he invented the clock, and they tried to take that away from him, and that's why they called the gigantic clock in London, England, they call that clock Big Ben, after Benjamin Banneker. But they tried to name it after Ben Franklin, but it's really Benjamin Banneker, because Benjamin Banneker created the clock. He also designed Washington, D.C., which is 40 square miles, shaped like it's like a diamond, 10 miles each way. In the middle of Washington, D.C. is 16th Street, where the Scottish Rite Temple is. And it's a lot of things that I can show y'all in due time. The Creator willing, we'll be able to do that. With the ancestors' permission, I'll be able to show you a great deal of things. Because one day we're going to become ancestors. And hopefully someone will be, our great-great-grandchildren will be filming and talking about us, about the accomplishments and the efforts that we made to liberate our people. So that's why it's so important for us to link arms so we can all get liberated. It's very, very important. Very important. And in closing, I want to discuss this with you all. I'm going to be talking about this cracker, this police who shot a paraplegic black man who was retarded and was unable and lost his ability. He doesn't have the ability to lift his hands up. And he was already mentally retarded as well as a paraplegic. And this goddamn cracker shot this man. We're going to be talking about that in my next video back at the ranch. So I'm going to close right now. We're going to head on back and ride around through the city, see if we can see some historical findings, or run into some people that we could build with, because a great deal of people know me in Washington, D.C., so sometimes I'll wear shades and I'll wear a disguise, because I'm not in the notoriety and fame, as you all know. So until we meet again, as always, Hotep, Black Power.